one of the most common things people have an issue with, and some of them have been writing 20 years and they have a resume certification, is building deep content. Who can tell me what building deep content is? What deep content is on a resume? Anybody? Like, I won't use the right words. Deep content is where your resume does more than skirt the surface of sounding like a job description, responsible for, managed, directed, led, did this, did that, blah, blah, blah. And it tells a story. Unless you have deep content, you're not going to tell a story that's going to get an employer excited. The best response I ever heard probably came in the third year of my business. Not that I don't have tons of good ones, but I just love this because an executive came back to me and she was like, I sent my resume out 4 times and I had 4 interviews and I got to pick a job. She goes, but I have to tell you, the CEO who interviewed me said, I just want you to know, I've been reading resumes for 20 years. He goes, and they're boring and they're dull and I skim them. He goes, I read every word on both pages because I wanted to know your story. So deep content is asking the right questions. Deep content is finding out not just what they did, but how they did it, why they did it, what result they had, even if they take it for granted. Because what's our client's biggest issue? Our client's biggest issue is the ones who typically hire a professional resume writer, they're hiring you because they don't know what to play up on that resume. If it was up to them, they would just make a list or some paragraphs and tell you what they did. But they believe the caliber of person who typically hires a true professional, well-paid resume writer thinks that doing a good job is what everybody does. And so therefore, they're not going to sell any of it unless you tease it out of them. And they're not going to tell it to you unless you tease it out of them. And so it's our job to ask the right questions to find out those stories.